Hello, everyone. Welcome to the LTG show. This is episode 203. My name is Sean Wilburn.
I'm Tony Hannity's.
And I'm Andrew Lee.
And we are here, back, finally, to talk about technology and all the cool technology things that happen in this week and other times, past times. Now, we are part of a website that's called LazyTechGuys.com. If you would like to check out our website, please do so. It's called LazyTechGuys.com. We also have other ways you can contact us. You can email us at comments@LazyTechGuys.com. You can also give us a call at area code 707-722-5299. Also,
It's been a while, huh?
Yeah, it's been a while. So no, it's more of. So here's the deal, everyone. It's been a while. We've been out on hiatus temporarily due to other things going on, and I have yet to get my lower third, which is the thing at the bottom of the screen for all the visual listeners, to have my name imprinted. Sort of like we see the news broadcast. So here I am, trying to get this up as quickly as possible. There we go.
Now you look all spiffied out.
There I am.
now we actually know your name, even though you just said it. And now we can confirm it.
There you go.
And so Tony, can the NSA.
Tony, how are you doing?
I'm good, man.
How are you doing, my friend? NSA is not scaring you?
No, NSA is not scaring me yet. We're going to be talking about some privacy stuff in a little bit. But yeah, no, I'm good. I'm glad to be back. It's been a few weeks, and unfortunately, we missed a lot of awesome news pieces, but I think today's show is going to be jam-packed with a bunch of cool things to talk about, so I'm excited to hear what you guys have to say.
Oh, yeah. Andrew, how you doing, man?
Doing all right. I'm just glad to be back just like the rest of y'all.
You sound like you're at a rock concert or something like that, man. Yeah! God, just from the rest of y'all. Anyway, all right, but we got.
So glad to be back in Cleveland.
This is Baltimore.
I love your streets. I don't know. I don't know where I'm from with this.
Thanks, Tony.
So all right, so. Here we go. We have quite a few topics we're going to talk about today, but we are going to begin talking about, a couple upcoming things. So, Tony, real quick, you just want to mention a couple quick blurbs here?
Yeah, so what's going on in the next few days is a bunch of tech news hell. This is kind of like hell week, because if you're in tech news pundit, tech analyst, or if you're just into tech stuff, be prepared to be up late and up early, because there's a lot of stuff going on in Berlin due to the IFA show, and a lot of the companies are having their press announcements actually even before IFA. IFA starts on Friday, but Sony and Samsung have their press announcements tomorrow, or I guess today, or by the time that you watch this, maybe it was yesterday. Asus has a big announcement. Motorola has an announcement in Chicago, which is weird, I guess. I mean, it's where the headquarters are at, but in any event,
what's wrong with
Chicago? Right? There's nothing wrong with Chicago. It's just all the tech analysts and everybody else are in Berlin. So unless you're a big company like CNET or The Verge, or maybe you don't want to split up your resources and send some to Berlin and some to Chicago just for Motorola. But hey, they have the budget to do it, then by all means do it. And there's going to be a lot of stuff announced. We already know that the Note 4 is coming out. We already know that Asus has the new Zen watch. We'll be talking about Android Wear in just a little bit. And the Sony Z3 compact tablet is supposedly going to be announced tomorrow as well, too, including an exclusive announcement for T-Mobile, as they are going to have exclusive rights, supposedly, to launch the Z line here in the United States, which is pretty cool, especially if you've tried a Sony Xperia device. It's not a Sony Ericsson device, and Sean, I know you have an affinity for, well, maybe not an affinity, but at least experience with Sony Ericsson. These are really, really nice devices. So, but yeah, there's a lot of jam-packed stuff, and we could talk about our impressions, our thoughts, all the rumors, and our predictions, but we're not. So we'll talk about all that stuff next week.
Next week.
Next Tuesday, in addition to the iPhone announcement, because it actually our show happens on the same day as the iPhone announcement. So I don't know. It might be all iPhone, and then like 10% will be IFA. So we'll see. We'll see what's you know. We're not trying to be fanboys of any operating system here. We'll talk about what's important.
No fanboys.
Go Android. What? Who said that?
Hey,
Who's that
you
guy?
can't,
Is
you
that
can't say
orange
that
over there?
That
No,
was
On the
Charlie, is that
episode.
orange over
not
there.
me, not me, dude.
Save it for the next episode.
Linux for life. Anyway, so
Linux for life. This guy. But that's Android. Android's built on Linux.
I'm kidding, dude. Come on. All right, so we're going to start off today talk about some drones. Google Project Wing. Google has been secretly working on a drone-based delivery system. This is not quite what like they mentioned we talked about a couple months ago with the Amazon one that they were thinking about doing. No, Google's apparently got one that seems to be fully functioning, and they had it demonstrated dropping a package off and picking it up. They're saying that it could possibly be for goods as well as supplies and shipping eventually, but they're saying maybe they can get some people are figuring they can get supplies to areas that may not be able to get supplies to and different things like that. So, come on, Tony. They're making drones. The thing is flying already. Should be freaking out, happy? Is this the Skynet thing that will take over the world, or is this just the beginning of awesome technology, futuristic things that we should be, well, excited for?
All right, well, tin for a hot time. As long as they
Really?
don't,
From
as
you?
long as no, I'm just saying in general. But as long as they don't weaponize these things, I think we should be somewhat okay. But these are fully functional in the sense that they work and they fly and they do very basic functions as needed by the development team, but they're nowhere near the end result of what they're going to look like. And kind of similar to how the Amazon drone video with what do they call it, Prime Air or something like that, when that came out a few months ago. This also has that kind of look and feel of, oh, this is perfect. Look, it drops the package all somewhat gently in the vicinity of the person's farm. And then that's where my disbelief of both the Amazon Prime video and the Google video, it's like, okay, first of all, we don't own farms. No, I mean, majority of us don't own farms. Second of all, at least here in the United States, the FAA regulations disallow any of this from happening. Third of all, I mean, having to deal with single prop planes, crop dusters, and things like that, if you are going to be doing deliveries to farms, that's something that they're going to have to take into account. But even with all that negativity said, this is pretty awesome because they've been working with this for about 2 years, and we knew that they were serious about drones because Google actually bought Titan Aerospace last April for a mere, well, I think it was definitely a few million dollars. I don't think it was in the billions. Basically, the Titan Aerospace drones were those drones with the huge wingspans with the solar-powered panels on the top of it. We haven't really heard anything how they're using that technology, and that might not have anything to do with this. But the fact of the matter is, it's interesting to see both Google and Amazon playing in each other's backyard, so to speak, as Google has their own content, Amazon has their own content. Google's trying to mail stuff to you, whether it be through the Google Shopping Express, and Amazon has Prime, and now drones. So there is concern for this from a safety standpoint, but innovation needs to go somewhere, and apparently it's going to the skies. So, Andrew, do you think that this in the maybe not so much in the near future, but do you think in the future, even 10 years from now, that the technology will be so nitpicked down and precise that our concerns of drones crashing into each other or crashing into planes or falling from the sky randomly are going to be out by the wayside, similar how we don't necessarily have to worry about our cars kind of losing control like they used to think cars were going to do back in the early 1900s?
That's a really tough answer. I mean, only because that's going way out there for me at the very least. Maybe one day, but definitely not within I'd say the next 5 years or so. It just doesn't seem likely. I'll just take a limb on that out there on that.
Now, Sean, I know you and I talked about this last time regarding Amazon Prime Air. Again, forget the name. I apologize. But we were saying, okay, if they're going to do single package deliveries, one at a time, as long as the packages are 5 pounds or less, that seems very inefficient.
Mm-hmm.
And now we're actually seeing not a very in the Amazon video, it was a very gentle drop into a nice container right outside the guy's doorstep. This one's like dropped like a parachute, but there's no parachute. But there's a safety line connected to it. Again, as these are working prototypes and the first of their kind, do you think that they're going to have to do the same thing as we mentioned, increase the size of the drones, or are they just going to have thousands of drones doing these kind of deliveries to rural areas or whatnot and just have to do one package at a time?
I would say a combination of both. They would probably, if they're able to get this thing off the ground and people are able to do it and they're able to start making money or however they're trying to do with this service, they would probably make different ones to carry different packaging and different sizing. But, that's actually not what I was thinking about this entire situation, because I'm looking at it and I'm like, you know what? It's what it is. It seems to be okay. I'm not scared of seeing a drone flying around the sky delivering a package, because that is one of those futuristic ideas that have been around since, well, we've been children and before that. So it's not like it's a completely new idea, and I'm not completely scared of it. What gets my interest is how many millions of dollars is going to be spent in the United States Congress to allow these things to fly?
Yeah, no, that's a good point. I mean, Amazon is already petitioning the FAA to allow them to at least test their drones in their backyard, not having to go to all the way to New Zealand to test it, where the air regulations are a little bit more lax. And the question is, are the bigwigs, just the political guys, if they're going to be able to see beyond the current regulations and see the innovations and the importance of innovation and the importance of having to develop and test these things in populated areas. I mean, how can you test? We said this about the self-driving car. How do you test self-driving cars in the desert and say, oh yeah, they're fine, and then put it in downtown San Francisco? Like, those are two completely different environments.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Millions of dollars, though, Sean, have been spent to pass other bills that you and I might look at like very vague and obtrusive, and like, why would we spend any money for that in the first place? But somebody out there is lobbying for it, and they've got enough clout to get it passed. So someone out there, and like I said before on other shows, the younger generation that is interested in this technology, as well as interested in being political figures, are going to, in the later years, have this ingrained. So it's a possibility that they'll have a little bit more of an open mind and look at these current rules and see them as archaic and help us move on from there.
Yeah. I'm just curious.
Yeah.
900 million.
Oh, I'm thinking billions though, man. I'm thinking billions. I mean, we're just gonna raise the debt ceiling again just to allow us to.
It's just allow them to do the FAA, just to say, all right, FAA, let it to happen. Anyway.
Yeah.
All right, so, dude, iCloud. The rumor is
naked pictures.
It might have been hacked, but it wasn't hacked. What's going on here, man? I heard there's a lot of celebrity photos going out there, nudie photos.
Naked photos.
Which reminds me, maybe I should be looking these up. No, I'm kidding. Anyway, so what's going on, Tony? And what should we all be concerned?
So I'd like to point out that we do, as Lazy Tech Guys LTG Network, Sean was joking. We do recognize that this is an infringement of privacy, as well as theft. This is not a leak. Not like somebody, like a paparazzi took the pictures through the window and leaked it out or something. It's theft. These were stolen from a very, very personal accounts of these celebrities, and the only reason why they're getting note is because they are celebrities. Mm-hmm. And if you have any moral fiber, you would not look at these. Anyways, I'm off my soapbox on that. Going back to the actual topic at hand, Um, there were a group of hackers, and they don't know exactly how many, stated on a community board called 4chan, 4chan.org, that this actually a few months ago, they said, iCloud has a bug, and we can do brute force commands to it to allow us to get into anybody's iCloud account. Now, supposedly that was 4 months ago, and supposedly Apple fixed said bug, but apparently they didn't fix it too well. And I guess maybe the hackers had these pictures from back then, or maybe they really didn't fix it. But the fact of the matter is, we got very private photographs of celebrities like Jennifer Lawrence, Ariana Grande, Victoria Justice. Obviously, it's all very beautiful young women that are taking pictures of no clothes, and the the problem with this is that when the average user looks at iPhone and looks at the iCloud, they don't necessarily, or when they know that their phone is being backed up, Andrew, when someone says, "Oh, don't worry about, if you lose your phone, everything's backed up," when you think of everything, you might think of, okay, maybe my settings are backed up, email settings are backed up. I don't have to worry about losing apps that I've already paid for because it's all kind of connected to my iTunes. That's cool. But backup also means photos, and photos also mean even the photos that you've deleted. As nerds, we know when you delete something, it's not actually deleted. There's like a secondary cache file that the computer, especially Windows, kind of holds on to for, again, a certain amount of time. And with iCloud backup, it does the same thing with Time Machine. Now, Sean, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but Time Machine on Mac will do a backup of your Mac settings and everything that's on your Mac, and it will delete the latest backup, so it doesn't keep on backing up every single week. So it has some more, has room to back up more. But at any certain point, if someone has your iCloud info or any info that they can get into your account, and all those photos that you thought were gone will appear again. So I'm not going to get into like what the celebrities said, because obviously they're not happy. I don't think anyone would be happy about these being leaked. But what do you guys think that Apple can do at this moment? Now, Sean, like you said, Apple's saying that it's not an iCloud hack, but whatever it is, they were hacked, right? It's not like, oh, these were backed up to Dropbox and now we can actually blame Dropbox. No, this was a hack and a theft that was done through Apple servers somehow. So is this now, does Apple need to take the responsibility, and mind you, the FBI is also investigating this alongside with Apple to try and figure out where these hackers are going to strike next, because they actually did say, okay, we're done here on 4chan or wherever, and but we're not going away. We're going to go somewhere else and continue posting. So they're not gone. There's more photos out there, and you naughty people stop trying to look for them. But the fact is, to prevent this in the future, does Apple need to impose two-step authentication, like for everybody, or do you think right now more and more people are just becoming a little bit more aware of what cloud backup really means, and this is all education, and maybe they won't take nudie selfies anymore or something? I mean, what do you guys think?
Sounds like a little bit of everything. I mean, when you think of cloud storage, it's in the cloud, but when you say backup, I'm thinking I'm thinking physical hard copy.
Right, but the physical hard copy is connected to the cloud, and that's the thing. I mean,
yeah.
And
so that's why I'm saying it's a little bit more of a little bit of an educational wake up call. As far as like a two-step verification thing, I think Apple should just leave it open for people who want it, and people who don't care for it or don't feel that they're safe, then good for them.
Do you guys have two-step verification on your phones? No, Andrew? Sean?
Nope.
No? Okay.
No, I do not use that. Here's my thing about it is this. Apple is unfortunately going to have to take responsibility. Maybe, and the reason why I'm not sure if they should or should not is because if they use the same technique that they said Apple supposedly have fixed, and Apple didn't fix it, then at this point Apple needs to take responsibility for it and eat it.
Correct.
Yeah, plain and simple. Now, if these folks found a different way to breaking in and did that, just because in reality, let's just think about this. Nothing is safe. No data out there in the internet is safe from anybody, because there are people who have to build the systems to protect it, and there are people who sole ideas. They just try to break them and have fun with it. It's just what it is.
Yeah, it's built by humans, and it can be broken by humans. You're correct.
If there is, though, the real answer is, if there is something really private that you do not want out there, cloud storage is the last place you want to put it, because a cloud storage is not some mystical place in the sky. Cloud storage is another hard drive sitting on another place of the world. So that means not only is there a copy on your computer, there's a copy on this other piece, and there's another copy somewhere else where it could possibly be, like your phone or somewhere else. And as Tony mentioned, there's also your caches, your trashes, and all your other places that these photos and other things are all being held. Unfortunately, that's the reason why we have services out there that they're trying to do to encrypt your data. If you have stuff that is that important, that's why people encrypt their data. It's very important to do so, and if that is the right way of protecting yourself, then go ahead and do so. But if you do have naughty pictures of yourself and you put them on a cloud anywhere, there's going to be multiple copies of it, and this partially does become a learning experience for those people and other people who do this. At the same time, if Apple, like I said, is getting screwed over on the exact same exploit they had before, then they deserve to get every little thing they get nailed on, period.
So this definitely is wholeheartedly about security. And Sean, I don't know, this just seems like a perfect segue. Apple, regarding security, with the new iPhone announcement, we're on the eve of that. And like I said, in just 7 days from now, Apple has actually reached agreements with the likes of American Express, MasterCard, and as well as, I believe, Visa, to work with the iPhone to do iPhone payment, to have an iPhone payment system or an iOS payment system, whatever they're going to call it. Now that's awesome. That's something that we've kind of been a lot of people have been clamoring for, since Google has their own version, and obviously Amazon has their own payment system, and Apple is, again, and I've said this many times, they're late to the game, but however they're going to implement it onto their system, it's going to look beautiful, and it's going to look great, and it's going to hopefully work seamlessly. But in light of the security kerfuffle, whether it was iCloud or not, it was an Apple security breach. So do you think the everyday man is going to see the iCloud backup breach or whatever and see this payment system and connect the two and say, oh, I don't want to have anything to do with that? Or do you think they'll say, oh, well, iCloud is one thing, they might not have very much security with that, but if they're working with American Express, Visa, and MasterCard, they've definitely put a lot more encrypted efforts on that platform. What do you guys think?
All right, well, Tony, Andrew? All right.
Nothing at the moment.
All right. What I got on this one is this. I think Apple has some absolute excellent timing as far as whenever they do an announcement and suddenly something gets hacked. It's almost like there's some country out there in the world secretly putting in hackers to screw with Apple because they don't sell the iPhones at the right price in their country, which is true at all countries, by the way.
What is the right price, Sean?
A lot less than it's tagged at. Anyway, I'm kind of joking about that, but all due respect. So remember when Apple made a deal with, I forget who it was, but they made a deal to try to get iPhones in security, and I think it was with Intel, I believe, or something like that a couple months ago. And then immediately after, some news got there.
IBM.
IBM, that was it. And then they were like, oh, the government, they have the back door the government can get into all networks. Immediately, like a week after that announcement came out, Apple's like, no, it didn't happen. No, it's not true.
Yeah.
And now, a week before they do the new iPhone 6 and this payment announcement, well, would you believe it? All these celebrity accounts are getting hacked exactly 1 week beforehand, putting doubt on this. At the same time, if you got a payment system, everything can be hacked. Credit cards have been stolen since credit cards. Checks have been stolen since the age of checks, and cash has been stolen from people since the invention of cash.
Yeah, I mean, even just today, I think it was Home Depot. They realized
That's
that
right.
they were being their credit card system had been hacked as well too.
Yeah.
So yeah, you're and mind you, it doesn't mean that you have a credit card with Home Depot. If you've used your credit card at Home Depot, you might be your number might be out there. So just be aware. Check your statements and stuff.
So
But
just so people understand, those payment companies are a third-party system. There's tons of them. There's like about 20 of them around here, and they're all third-party systems that all have custom key numbers that apply to each different business. And then essentially, when all the businesses do credit card transactions, it goes to a place. They have these keys that check the numbers, make sure everything is legit, and they go there.
Matches up, right?
Now, if the hackers can get their hands on the keychain of one of those things, then yeah, they have access to all the credit card data. It's just what it is. And unfortunately, that stuff is online. That's how you access it. That's how the stuff is communicating, just like where everything else is.
I do want to touch on something that is connected to this payment system. Well, first of all, having the agreement with American Express isn't as, I guess, some tech pundits were saying that's a big deal. I don't know if they've made an agreement with American Express or American Express Serve. And American Express Serve is their prepaid credit card / debit card system, which is kind of one of the main ways that users of Google Wallet and ISIS, which they're changing their name obviously for political reasons, but they use that. They use the American Express Serve for you to put money on instead of you using your own other credit card. So you might not be able to put your Platinum American Express card connected to this, but we'll obviously find out next week. What I really want to ask you guys is, do you think the fact that we will probably see NFC finally come to the iPhone now, will that make NFC a valid form of transferring data of any sort, or is it still going to be that thing where people are like, I don't get it, I don't really see it, I don't really see the point of it. Kind of how we have our tap to pay credit cards. My credit card is tap to pay, and I can go to Starbucks or Jack in the Box or whatever and tap to pay, and I do that. But most people, even with tap to pay credit cards, don't. They still swipe. So do you think that because it's Apple, bad, but do you think because Apple is Apple that they have enough clout and they have enough, I guess, notoriety to say, hey, NFC is awesome, and then everyone else is like, yeah, NFC is awesome?
Andrew?
Yeah, it's kind of a twofold question. I mean, mainly because, yeah, you're right. Like, even for me, I think one of my cards is tap to pay, but I'm still old school. I usually swipe.
Mm-hmm.
So, I don't know. It might be... Huh? What?
That's because tap to pay is not really more convenient than just swiping, but go on.
No, you're right.
I'm just saying, like, effortless. Sorry. I mean, I really haven't gotten into the habit of even doing it. Too,
well, I mean,
so.
The thing is, like, when Google announced Google Wallet with NFC support a few years ago, there's only like maybe one or two retailers that supported it, and then Verizon, AT&T, and T-Mobile came out with ISIS, and again, only very few companies supported it. More and more companies these days, again, with those third-party systems that Sean was talking about, support both Google Wallet and ISIS, which is awesome. So there's no reason for these third-party companies to, again, do a firmware upgrade to support whatever payment system that Apple's going to do. It doesn't mean that these companies have to invest more hardware. They just have to do a firmware upgrade to recognize that special key that Sean mentioned. But do you think that people will? Do you think the everyday consumer, because iPhone is one of the most prevalent phones out there, they're going to say, "Oh, this is so awesome! I'm so glad we can do this now."
I'm so happy you asked this question because I was thinking about this before the podcast.
Good.
All right, so what I was thinking was a lot of phones and a lot of this technology you have to forget is all future facing. It's none of it's going backwards. So even though they do have as millions and millions and millions of these devices out there, none of that actually matters because the only devices that will probably be compatible with this are going to be the 6s and up. So right off the bat, you are starting from scratch. Now their
Correct.
cloud is going to now what their cloud's going to do is going to get their diehards and their most faithfuls to look positively toward it. It will make technology websites like The Verge, amongst many others, give it a honest try. I mean, really give it a shot. See
That
if this thing
college
can work.
try.
Even more, they would give it a college try and then one more shot after
That
that.
post-baccalaureate try.
Yeah, whatever the heck that means. See, that's what they were going to give it that shot. They're going to really do it. Now, the thing that's going to hold back this kind of payment systems is kind of what I was hinting at a minute ago with the credit card thing, Andrew, saying is convenience. Is it really more convenient? Until it becomes more convenient to have this device being your number one payment and all the stuff that you need with you, it won't work. Like as of right now, if I get pulled over in the car, nothing on my phone is going to allow me to get out of it.
Hey, it's Beaker.
Yeah. Yes, it's Beaker on my phone. Yes, I have
Beaker's awesome.
There's nothing on it. There's certain things that we need. We need to still have a license. It still helps to have some physical registration when you're in your car. When you're going to buy something, there's certain things you still need to have. Until we can live by our phones only, having mobile communications is still going to be a little rocky start. It's going to start. It's going to slowly pick up. Having Apple there is really the boost that it's probably going to need to kind of get it going. But until everything else moves with it, I can't see it getting to the overall threshold of being a normally well-used thing in our society.
Yeah, I mean, Apple really tried their darndest to implement iBeacon. If you guys remember iBeacon last September.
Not iBeaker, though?
No, not iBeaker. But iBeacon was a pretty cool idea. Basically, it was a little radio antenna that retailers would put in their store, and if you had an iPhone, it could automatically, remotely turn on the iBeacon in your phone. And it would say, "Hey, Sean, welcome back to the store." Like, holy crap! How did it know that I've come here before? And it would recommend to you. It could recommend things to you like shirts and socks and things based off your prior purchases. And a lot of retailers didn't jump on board to that. I mean, really, the only retailer that really is taking advantage of that is obviously Apple. So it's not that it's a failed technology. It just wasn't widely accepted or widely used. So. We'll see. Yeah, we'll definitely see how this pans out. I'm glad that if they really are doing NFC, I'm glad they're finally doing it because it really does have that one additional technology that Windows Phone and Android have been using and have been, or rather, maybe not using, but they've had, and it's like, well, there's no use for it. And now when iPhoners will have it, then maybe for whatever reason, people will start using it more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Excellent. See, Tony, I did put some thought into that. See that?
Yeah, see that. Man, it's good. It's good.
Yeah. See, and without my tinfoil hat. All right, let's take a break here. Actually, just so you know, I actually am really thinking about getting a real tinfoil hat, or just grabbing some and making some, just to say every time I say, "All right, it's that time," I'll just put it on my head and then take it off.
See, if I had a soundboard, I would say tinfoil hat time, and then you'd put it on. You know when to.
I can make that.
I know, but I want to press the button.
I can give you the file. Anyway, so let's take a break. Let's thank our sponsor, which is Audible.com. Now, Audible.com is an excellent service. What audiobooks are they're essentially the books that the professional and the high-end books, bestsellers and new releases that we see in all the bestsellers out there being read to us this way so it can accommodate our busy lifestyle. I mean, we were talking in our podcast a minute ago how the convenience of mobile payments is being stalled by just that it's not convenient yet. Well, there is a huge convenience that has to come with audiobooks. You get a chance to listen to them and enjoy audiobooks while you're driving, while you're getting work done around the house, while you're doing other things, while you're working out. You know what? While you're jogging that mile, you can sit back and listen to the latest Stephen King novel or many, many other books out there. It allows you to enjoy books in a new way. It allows us to continue to be productive. And most important of all, we got a little deal here that actually allows you to try it for free for a month, and you get a free book to try it out. So it's kind of this is like the best way of getting started into a service, and we want you to try it out. So this is the URL here, www.audibletrial, and it's audibletrial.com/lazy. Use that URL, sign up with that. You'll get 30 days to check out the service. You get a free book. And if you stay a member, you'll become a member. You pay a monthly fee, but every month you also continually get free books. You get discounts on other books and quite a few other things. You even get to participate in features like Whisper Sync, which syncs up physical books with your, digital books that you're getting with your Kindle, along with these audiobooks that you're buying. It's a really, really cool service, and you should definitely check it out. So to get started, audibletrial.com/lazy. Use that sign up, enjoy it, and what's most important of all, pick a good book. Pick a really good book. That way, so while you're listening to it, you just smile and be like, wow, this is a great service. Read by professionals, audibletrial.com/lazy. Can't say enough about it. Just definitely sign up and check it out. All right. Now we're going to go ahead and get into, I guess we're going to talk about technology, right? Is that what this is here?
I thought this was the puppy podcast.
Oh, yeah. All right.
I brought my puppy.
Hey,
We're not talking about puppies?
No. But real quick, can I bring up something real quick? Have either of you two seen the most recent Hobbit movies? Both of them? Just curious.
No.
No.
No, neither one of you have? Okay.
Probably read the books a long time ago.
Yeah, no, me too. I
of
read it
course-
like 3 times.
Yeah.
But-
I'll say this much. The second movie, after watching the second movie and getting to the end of it, first thing is after I got to the end of it, I even rewound it and watched it again, which is a rare thing for me.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, hold on. What's even rarer that you have to rewind anything? Why are you rewinding anything?
You know what I mean by scan. I scanned back some minutes. About it. Well, technically, every time we record something, you tell me what a record is, and I'll anyway. So we need
That's
to.
true.
So anyway, So that last hour of the second movie made the first and the entire second movie absolutely worth watching everything of it. So if you guys happen to have HBO Go, and I'm not advertising this for HBO Go, I'm not trying to be a Steven Jackson fan or anything like that, because I did love the Lord of the Rings movies, but I know there are some people out there who weren't really feeling The Hobbit.
That's what I heard too.
Dude, yeah, I have no problem with the first movie. The first movie I quite enjoyed, and the second movie made it to the point where I was just like,
For audio listeners, his mouth is open.
edge of the seat, just tension.
Gawking.
It was unbelievable.
Gawking.
Yeah. So,
On the gawker.
so anyone out there, so if you got HBO, anyone out there who has HBO or HBO Go, or a friend who has it, and you can borrow their account, whatever you're gonna do, I don't care. It's on HBO Go. Both Hobbit movies are there. If you have 6 hours out of your life, seriously watch it. It's a long time, but it's very, very. And by the time you get to the second one, you'll get to that thing. Like, I can't wait for the third movie. But anyway, throw that out there. Killer thing. Anyone else out there? If you've seen it, I know you're probably out there with me. But
He's really excited.
I'm telling you, it was pretty wicked, dude. Anyway, all right. Chip shot. What do we got here? Intel has unveiled a new 8-core gaming PC. Andrew.
Processor
for putting in PCs. Yeah, what do we got?
So, for the most part, Intel announced their first 8-core 5th generation i7 processor at PAX, the PAX convention, and this is actually the reason why it's a first 8-core. Is that it's their first that features 16 threads. Now, not to get too technical. The processor I have right now is a 4th generation i7, which only comes with 8 threads. So that's 2 per processor, or 2 per, technically, yeah. So which equals 8.
Really?
So,
Yours is hyper-threaded to 8?
yes.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So
Cool.
it's pretty impressive. To kind of give you the short version, they actually are targeting hardcore gamers, multitasking,
No.
mavens, and 4K enthusiasts.
Can I use this on my my Chromebook?
Yes. And you will have.
I'd probably blow up the Chromebook if I use this and explode. It's like,
Yeah,
God.
All right.
I mean, I'll put in this input before I start bashing it. I mean, it sounds very impressive, but my main thing is okay, now that we got the processor, who's going to make the motherboard to support this? And
Asus?
that's probably my first choice, but I mean,
I'm going right there. Asus?
Well,
Republic of Gamers?
Well, let's talk about that. Would you believe it? I might have an answer for you on that.
Oh, look at Sean.
Oh.
He's got a rabbit out of the hat.
Yeah, it's called "Why is Chrome moving so slow right now?"
Google, come on.
And for our listeners, just to be a little more precise, the processor that they released is the i7-5960X Extreme Edition.
Not the regular edition.
This is for a desktop also. It's not going to be, at least right now, it's not going to be.
It's not a mobile version.
It's not a laptop. Yeah,
so
this is going to be up to 3.5 gigahertz.
All right, so as I was trying to load it up, I realizing that Chrome is just not happy right now. So let me see if I can boot Safari, copy the link over into it, and have it come up with the answer faster. And so far,
behind the scenes stuff.
Yeah, this is definitely it right here. And did Safari get the link, or is the link down? Oh, it looks like the link is down.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
for what?
You want to send it to me?
No, no, I'm just trying to.
I can open it.
So here's the deal: if you have the link open and you look at the first line in the article, it has a link in there. Click that link. It actually has more details on the actual deal. 2 companies have already announced support for it. One of them happens to be Alienware, and the other is
Dell.
God, I'm trying to remember what. Yeah, and the other is I'm trying. That's why
I probably would think Asus.
It's not Asus. It's I'm trying to find it. Hence why my computer is running like.
Is it Graph?
Yeah, I think that link's not working.
Yeah, the link is. This is all Intel's fault. But
blame it on Intel.
Are you Sean? Do you know if you're talking about the new Dell? Dell. Well, it is Dell. But do you know if you're talking about the new Alienware Triad?
No. This is still so. 2 companies have said what they were saying in a statement was, "We are proud." I'm paraphrasing here because I can't get the article to open up. We are proud to support and support this future architecture. We have plans with the new GDDR4 memory that they're using and the blah blah blah. So they're pretty much saying we are thrilled. We're already ready to use this. Alienware said that they're partnering up and working with Intel with this device. So that means Alienware probably already has something in the pipes ready to go, or they're going to have a build your own PC, and this is about to become an option for that model.
Okay, so in the chat, I'm sending you guys this article that I found on IGN outlining what I mentioned was the new Alienware Triad. This is going to have factory overclocked 6-core and 8-core Intel Core processor i7 Extreme processors. Is that it? Could that be one of them?
The guy didn't mention this particular one, but I'm looking through here. The Command Center 4.0 software was mentioned. Yeah, the Alienware 51 system is definitely something they mentioned. So maybe it is.
Yeah, this is the Area 51 system here.
So this must be it. So it will become an option for this computer.
I mean, if for those that are watching the video here, this is the look of the Triad. This is I guess it's a 3-sided PC, and from what I heard, to get to the different ports, you actually have to rock this thing from one side to another. That lifts it up, and then you get to the other ports and stuff. So I don't know how this would actually pan out in real life, but this is one hunk of a machine. You wouldn't want to put this on your desk. Maybe kind of have it below, which defeats the point of having a cool-looking tower. But hey.
I do have a price for that processor.
Andrew, yeah, you got some specs. What do we got?
I just gave you the links there, but I might be a little wrong on this assumption, but a box and a tray, I'm not too sure what that means, so I'm pretty sure I'm going to be corrected in about 30 seconds. But the box lists as $1,059, and the tray is pretty much under $1,000, $999. But it's a 3 gigahertz processor.
What the hell is a tray? It must be just without the box, or maybe you order it in packaging because you're gonna throw it in a computer and you're gonna toss the box anyway. So why pay $60? You pay $60 if you really want the box, maybe.
Yeah.
You know, I have someone who works for Intel, so I'll ask him.
Got it. All right. So launch date 3rd quarter 2014.
Yeah, so that sounds about right with what we're talking about.
Very soon to now. And 3 gigahertz clock speed, max turbo frequency 3.5, Intel Smart Chip 20 megabytes, 64-bit instructional set. See here, and then for the people who really understand tech, I don't understand what any of this means, but the instructional set extensions, SSE 4.2, AVX 2.0, and AES. So
now, in the press release, they also said that this new processor would run with popular games like Lucky's Tale, Super Hot, with the Oculus Rift, Dark Souls 2, and Titanfall. So for existing games, and you guys would know better than I, is there a simple few, maybe not a few, but is it as easy as putting lines of code to upscale the video and the gameplay to take advantage of these additional cores, or is it like Andrew said, they're just going to have to take full advantage of it from this point on, or I guess third quarter on?
Andrew?
It's really hard to say. I mean, because the thing is, and this is from selling actual computers. It's more of, I want to say it's kind of like having a fast processor is only the part of the equation, because, well, if you don't have a board to support that much traffic, that type of speed, then it's really more or less going to get bottlenecked. That's kind of like the simpleton explanation. So, I mean, it's really hard to say without, as far as in the actual game application, how it's going to work exactly. That might be something simple on the hardware end of things, but
all I'm saying is, if you do throw this into your machine, prepare to have your machine liquid cooled.
I mean, if anything, it should be faster, but
faster and hotter, liquid cool.
Yeah, I mean, it's not going to improve the graphics or anything. It
No.
should be faster, if anything.
That's the big thing about it, and that's kind of a big key.
Oh, really? So faster doesn't mean improved graphics either?
No, it does not at all. So what?
Because that would be your graphics card.
Oh no! You know what? I'm a simpleton when it comes to gaming, so that's a good point.
Well, actually, it still applies to the graphics card too, but that's another story.
But this is an integrated graphics card.
But
or you can get a GeForce graphics card separately.
So here's the one factor that you have to do is you have to figure in the software that you're playing. All the software has a max settings. They have them set to a certain level that maxes out what you're going to get. Usually you'll find it at 1440 by something nowadays on some software, and they usually have a frame rate where they'll allow you to get up to maybe above 60, maybe 120, but they usually will go to a certain level. The graphics will only get so good because they only program the sprites so good. So yeah, you can increase the performance and get it to move faster, but it will never really look beyond a certain level if they never program it to look better beyond a certain level. Super Mario Brothers will always look like Super Mario Brothers, even on the biggest television screen and the nicest thing. It always will still look the same.
So, I mean, to answer your question, though, Tony, it's probably half and half, really, if anything.
So, but yeah, expect some performance boost, note less slowdowns, better frame rate with something like this, and you will be able to get the graphics up to a higher number without it choking. But the games will still look as good as the games look. So. But either way, this is badass, and I can't wait to check this thing out in action. Andrew, and Lenovo, and it also has a new gaming laptop they've announced.
Looks like they're trying to get into the mix of things, so they're coming out with a 17-inch touchscreen laptop. Now, for our listeners, it's a Y70 model. It's their new line. Like how the article mentions that it might as well stand for YOLO.
Oh,
sorry.
God.
Yes, I had to.
You didn't have to.
Yeah.
30 years old, you don't have to.
Yeah, I know.
I got a double.
I just thought it was funny
right now.
But they're pretty much Lenovo's claiming that it's supposed to be thinner and lighter than other computers of its class, and then it's pretty much in the same. It's supposed to be coming with an i7, an undisclosed GTX NVIDIA graphics card, up to 16 gigs of RAM, and either a 1 terabyte hard drive or 256 gig solid-state drive. Battery life up to about 5 hours, and with the price range in October for around starting at $1,299.
So one thing that they point out in this, they say, however, the Y70 Touch does have a nice trick that you might have guessed. The screen is fully touch compatible. So I deal with touch Windows 8 laptops all day and every day. But from a gaming standpoint, right now, touch doesn't do anything, right? I mean, unless you're playing like I don't know, StarCraft. Is StarCraft still a thing? I mean, or I guess World of Warcraft. Or, you know, you'd be like, oh, I want my character to go there right now. You can touch the screen and your character will go
All
right.
right, all right, all right. Since this is kind of like your way of telling me to say something, okay. So with touchscreen, I mean, with Windows 8, 8.1, it's kind of like a standard feature now.
Right.
To not have to not have a touchscreen on that operating system is sort of blasphemous. But I mean, in terms of a core gamer standpoint, there's really nothing out there at the moment, and I say at the moment, that takes advantage of that feature.
Do you think developers will? Is it worth their time to implement that with so many people still? We just talked about desktop gaming. You know, unless you buy that $200, $300, $400, $500 monitor that is touch enabled for your desktop, it's kind of like, you know, developers developing for the Kinect. I mean, again, this is me speaking for my own opinion, not of the opinion of the company I work for. But developers don't really develop for it, so it's a nice feature, right? But did Lenovo really have to put touch in there? Because if you're buying an 8-pound gaming laptop, you're probably not going to want to touch it.
Well, it's not even just that. If I'll put it this way, if you're buying a gaming laptop, and I'm talking about like a core gaming laptop, you're going to invest the money in getting like the core gaming accessories, and especially if you're doing the big competitions like the tournaments and stuff, you're going to actually buy those things that will give you an edge. The touchscreen is kind of just a added touch to it. It's kind of like, oh, cool, I can do this now. But I mean, it's like, well, it's just for fun. I guess they just wanted to show peace.
The answer, Tony, to your question is no, because tablets is where touchscreen gaming is, because guess where you can put it? Here on your lap, right here, playing, gaming. That's why it's so convenient. Phones are good for gaming and the way for touch gaming because it's right here, it's close to you. A laptop would sit here. It's already distanced away from you, so you already have a little bit of distance there. And desktop-wise, anything like that, that kind of gaming doesn't really work. You'll be instinctively wanting to use a controller, or it'll kind of go in that direction, hence why everybody will end up with our accessories Andrew's talking about. So I don't know if gaming is going to work on that device, though the touchscreen is not really going to help. Touchscreen gaming is definitely for tablets and for phones, and that's where people are comfortable because you can set it on your lap and comfortably play it.
I mean, honestly, I would say that Lenovo put the touch for the very reason that Andrew mentioned, to have a Windows 8 premium laptop without touch is kind of blasphemous. You're already spending upwards of $800, $900. You might as well have that additional touch panel on there, so when you're not gaming, you can take advantage of the Windows 8 function and, you know, swipe and use gestures, and it's great when you're doing that. But yeah, you throw on, you know, Watch Dogs or something, you ain't touching that screen for nothing.
Did you hear about the Rovio CEO stepping down?
Oh, the Angry Bird guy?
Yeah.
No. When did this happen?
The other day. Hang on. Rovio.
He was the chief bird.
I was going to say, to interject really quick,
Yeah.
I mean, if they added, like, Gorilla Glass to the screen, then maybe, sure, why not? Get some use out of the screen, but...
Gorilla Glass really doesn't hold up to
You know what I mean.
Yeah.
Yeah, here we go.
You know what I mean.
The chief Angry Bird is leaving the nest. Rovio, Finnish gamer, blah, 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 blah. Executive Michael Head would step down by the end of the year as his company struggles financially.
Yeah, they are struggling. I mean, they're trying to do a bunch of spin-offs of Angry Birds with different properties, you know, from Star Wars, well, I guess it's Disney. You know, Star Wars is their latest one, and they got the new one, but what else are they doing? They had that Angry Bird...
The Epic one. I actually wanted to try that. I was a free.
I did too, but again, it's, you know, it's...
Well, that's actually a turn-based shooter, dude. I was excited.
But we're tired of Angry Bird. Yeah, if Rovio really put emphasis and effort into some other IP and did a really good job at it, I think we would, you know, we wouldn't turn a blind eye to. Because when we hear a new Angry Bird thing, and I'm talking because my closed circle of tech pundits and analysts, we kind of turn a blind eye. It's like, oh, here's another Angry Bird thing. Here's stupid green pigs. Why are they green? I don't know. But yeah. I do want to answer a question that's in the Q&A, because so you guys know, we do have a live Q&A, and Terrell here asked the question, what does your area fields of knowledge mean? And the only thing I can think that he's talking about is our lower thirds. So for me personally, EIC is editor-in-chief of LazyTechGuys.com. I'm also a mobile analyst when it comes to mobile phone technology, cell phone towers, carriers. Particularly here in the United States, I don't really get a lot to play with of international. And then tech analyst. I've been analyzing tech privately, personally, and also publicly and professionally for a total of about 10 years. So that's me.
I guess it's my turn, huh? So I just more or less, well, how do I start? There's so many ways I can do this, but I'm the entertainment editor for the LTG show. I pretty much cover gaming, all sorts of it, as well as a lot of the stuff that's on YouTube, entertainment-wise. So I cover kind of a wide field of stuff.
And I am the clown. Here's my nose.
Stupid.
So I am the clown. No. Mine's is a sound engineer and editor. Just hang out here, sound guy, record stuff, and all that good stuff.
And you make music.
And I make music.
And I just want to touch, because like Andrew said, he does a lot of the videos and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. Twitch went to Amazon? Wow.
Yeah, that's right.
Never thought about that. Like, I didn't even see that coming. Yeah. The next, but, again, that was a previous show, but we just don't have time right now. We do have a really good question from Jack here. What will be the most innovations in terms of gaming in the near future?
Kind of depends. I mean, if you're looking for development-wise, you might want to look into Game Developers Conference. That's sort of like the back end of things, right?
Well, I don't know. I think.
Do you think innovation is going to come in like Oculus Rift?
Yeah, it's like in VR or
VR.
Like that.
Oh, okay. It's possible. I mean, the only thing is with Oculus is since it's under Facebook. I personally haven't heard anything as far as like any type of major breakthroughs on that end. But
I mean, there's Oculus. Tomorrow's Samsung supposedly announcing a VR headset that you can dock in your Note 4 and you actually use your Note 4 as the screen, kind of similar to Google's Cardboard. And then there's the Project Morpheus from Sony. Thank you. So yeah, I mean. I guess right now that would be the most innovative stuff because, the immersive gaming when it comes to augmented reality, like using games like Ingress, which is another Google property, it's cool, but not everyone's gonna run around the street going, "Oh, look at the portals,"
Yeah.
But are people gonna be running around with helmets like, "Oh, look at the portals"?
I still think it's gonna be GDC though, as far as where to look for it. Mainly GDC.
Well, I think the answer to the question is absolutely in VR as of right now. I think VR is going to be the next step if done right, and this is why I think that. Every single big innovation that we've had has been something to do with controls, and every bit of gaming has simply been to controls. So when gaming first started, it was a joystick and a thing you had to move, or a thing that you moved up or down and the dots moved around. As games expanded to Pac-Man, Space Invaders, and stuff like that, you got more control things, you got buttons, you got different control schemes. As gaming progressed and people started shooting things, gamers started having guns, games having rifles, games had all these new interactive elements that got you involved.
Silent Scope.
Exactly, I love that game. Anyway, the original Punch-Out had 2 joysticks that you actually had to punch with. It was crazy to control that game. Now, what's really been happening is we found different control screens of going on. When gaming came to consoles, they gave us a simple one, and that's been expanding out to something big. But when the Wii blew up, it was the first one that got people thinking, hey, a new control scheme, new possibility, and it blew up, and then the Wii failed in really delivering what people were hoping to get out of it. Now, VR is a much more ambitious goal, and normally I would say, oh yeah, well, it's in the same situation as the Wii, and technically it still is. They have a lofty goal, and people look at it, and people really do see it as a possibility, and it could be something cool. But just like the Wii, if it fails horribly, then it's going to get dropped. And that's the reason why I think that Oculus and Sony are both taking their sweet little times with it, because there is no rush. It is more important to get it right and
Correct.
prove people that it's right. And I figure that after we get to the point where we get our eyes and all this on, then eventually Hollow Room, maybe we'll get to the point where we can do a whole room and start doing, like Microsoft already has that camera that can pretty much convert your whole room into a big deal. We just if we take what we can get through VR and that world and that design, maybe use that camera, use that kind of idea, we can get our own room like we see in the Star Treks and all that. It is very possible. It's very far in the future, and all of us will be definitely old and gray by the time we get to that point. But VR is definitely, I'm thinking like within 20 years, that thing will actually be something that we could really consider.
I don't want to take this to a whole nother level because it will be 3-hour podcast. But do you ever think, and just say yes or no, do you ever think we'll get into a society where we can jack in like the Matrix?
No.
Okay, Andrew.
I'd rather have VR missions instead.
All right, let's go ahead and move on.
All right, we got some mobile topics here. Let's get started with the Mate, now the M8 HTC One.
Yeah, so this is the M8 HTC One with Windows. Basically, the hardware is the exact same hardware as the Android variant that came out earlier this year, but instead of Android, it's running Windows 8.1 Update 1. And that is very, very important to point out, as right now, that's really the only phone that comes officially with the latest version of Windows Phone right out the gate. Now, if you're like me, you can throw the developer preview on another Windows Phone like I have here, and in fact, in a few days, hopefully, depending on his time frame, Victor and I did a video yesterday talking about Windows Phone and the pros and cons of it from an Android user standpoint. So we'll throw that video on our YouTubes, multiple tubes. But talking about this, this is actually a really nice phone. I mean, the hardware is all aluminum. It's got the 2 cameras, so you can do the whole depth of field. It does have Blink Feed as an app. It does have Cortana, has notifications. Bottom line, I would say the biggest thing that it's lacking is really not the phone. It's just the operating system. It's lacking the apps, you know. So that's just something that, you know, as time moves on, the store is going to get bigger and better and brighter, and the future is going to be hopefully as good as the future was for Android. But, you know, if you care about the specifications on this, it is a Snapdragon 801 processor, 1080p screen, 4.7-inch display. So it's not a full 5-inch display, but it's really nice because you can put your thumb all the way into the upper left-hand corner. You can't really do it with 5.1 screens unless you have big fingers. Currently, it's available only on Verizon Wireless. However, both AT&T and T-Mobile announced that they would be releasing it later on this year. So if you've been looking for an alternative, this is the best experience that you can have going into a store and saying, hey, I want to see one phone that I can try both Android and Windows Phone and to see which experience works best for me. And this allows you to do that. So go check it out. Price can always change up and down, but go check it out and see what you think and let us know. Additionally, OnePlus, the company that is an offshoot of Oppo, and for those of you that say no, it's a startup, no, it's a freaking offshoot of Oppo. They have had this really awesome phone called the OnePlus One, that has been out, but invite only for a few months, and they rarely give out invites, and for me. I've been on the list, I've been entering contests, I've been talking to everybody that already owns one because existing owners are supposed to also be able to shoot out invites too, and everybody that I've talked to don't have any invites to shoot out. But it looks like come October, the invite system is going to be discontinued and you'll just be able to buy it. Now, this phone is basically the specifications of a Galaxy S5, an LG G3, an HTC One M8, but for the price of mid-range phones. Without a contract, you can get a phone with an amazing camera with cyanogen mod for only $300 off contract. That's extremely unheard of, and that's why there's so much hype around this phone. And the phone is really good. They've had some marketing hiccups in the past few weeks, and they just recently kind of pushed that under the rug, and now they have a better contest going on. But I know you two, Andrew, Sean, aren't really as into phones as I am, but do you think it'll be too little too late to have this go on sale without an invite in October, seeing as we're seeing like 3, 4 new phones being announced just in the next 7 days.
What's so special about this phone besides the invite system? Because honestly, it's the only thing I've heard about this phone is you got to be invited. You got to be invited. And I'm thinking,
Okay, so
what's so special about this phone?
Okay, so think of basically just dumb it down. Like I said, it has an amazing price point, which extremely high-end specifications. It has a 1080p screen for modders. It comes with CyanogenMod, so you have the full openness to root and ROM the phone without necessarily having to download anything. Well, you have to download other additional things, but you don't have to additionally download CyanogenMod. It already comes with that. The hardware is actually very nice. It's very well built. It has a very fast processor. The camera is really nice too. Has NFC, Bluetooth 4.0. I mean, it has at the moment. I mean, their whole marketing campaign was that it was going to be the smartphone killer because all these other killer phones that were out earlier this year, the Note 3, the Galaxy S5, the BlackBerry Z30, yeah, I said it, the iPhone 5S. I mean, these phones had some of the best specs on the market, but the price was so high. And now OnePlus said, hey, we can give you all the specs without that price, and that's why.
Okay, now I have an answer for you. Absolutely not make any difference whatsoever. I have a feeling they're still going to be in a bad situation, and the only reason why is because of subsidization. People do not mind getting stuck with a 2-year contract to buy the phone that is the popular high-end phone that we hear about that they advertise 2 million times because they're buying those phones for $200. They're buying it for $100. This phone, it looks like it's unlocked for $300. Most people, the average consumer, is not going to care. Your tech pundits, more educated people, and people who are into more of that will absolutely care about this phone. I just think that the market they're appeasing to is still such a small market that it's not really going to make that big of a difference.
I don't have anything complicated like Sean just said. I honestly think it might just get all mixed up in the wash, and yeah, it might just more appeal to the people. Might appeal more to the people that really need those type of features for the most part.
But there is one thing I will say. If they can manage to get, like, for example, the only thing that can move forward in OnePlus's direction to get into a major deal is to have celebrities, have people like that of the know really getting into it. And they need honest, like, or endorsees. Like, you'd have to have, like, a real interview.
Is there truly an honest endorsement when it comes to celebrities?
Well, let's just say that there's a talk show and it's the Jimmy Fallon show and they talk about something and for some reason, it's on the all right, whatever, send my phone, and if he has like, what is that? Oh, this is the blah blah blah. Like an honest, like, hey, what the heck is that thing? Like, that's not an iPhone. Like, they expect you to pull out an iPhone and it wasn't an iPhone.
Sure.
And so, like, that's what I mean by an honest endorsement. Like I said, hey, what is that? Kind of a thing. Okay. And if some of those things started happening, and as if people in the know are trying these and using them, then they could possibly get some word. It's just defeating Apple and Android. I mean, Apple and Samsung at this time, it's just nearly impossible. So they might as well not even try. They should just get themselves in the ground, get themselves maybe a 30% increase the first year, another 30% increase after that, another 30% from there on, and just build their company, make a lot of money, and move on. So that's just honestly.
Or maybe some more phone destruction.
And no more of these stupid invite systems. Really, people, don't ever do that. That's terrible. Anyway.
Terrell, I do want to mention, I'm not quite sure if you're talking about Windows 8.1, the desktop operating system, or Windows Phone 8.1. So if you want to clarify, please do.
All right. So, wearables. Tony, now there has been word that there's some serious wearable action happening here with Android amongst the LG Watch and more. So what we got going on?
Okay, so you know what? I kind of want to do this in order of when these were announced. So the first thing that was announced last week was a brand new watch from LG, and this is called the LG G Watch R. And the R stands for round because this actually does have a round display. And this kind of has a sporty look to it, and almost Fossil-like. But don't tell Fossil I said that, because Fossil is also coming out with an Android Wear watch later on this year.
Everybody.
But this looks really nice. And one thing that LG teased about it is that it doesn't have a black line at the bottom. of the screen. Now, if you don't know what I'm talking about, earlier this month, or I guess late last month, it was brought to the attention of every tech pundit out there that the Moto 360, the Android Wear watch that everybody's been clamoring for, been waiting for, and been dying for, there's a black bar at the bottom. And if you're watching the video, you can see this. It's right underneath the screen there. And that black bar is always there. Now, there's a reason for that black bar. It needs to be able to sense ambient light, and there needs to have some sort of sensor. And unfortunately, it's there. It is what it is, and let's go ahead and move on. But LG took to their little teaser video and pointed out that there is no black bar on our watch, and you're going to get the full roundness of notifications and everything else that Android Wear is going to offer you. Now, there's no current price point for this. But we're actually, I think they said it was going to be $200. I could be wrong.
Oh.
But for a smartwatch, $200, that's not very expensive, and it looks cool. If you're into that sporty look, and I don't know why they've got this deal with Triumph motorcycles, but they do. Yeah, I'm excited to see what else LG is going to talk about, because they are going to talk a little bit more about this at IFA. Next up, Samsung has announced the Gear S smartwatch. Now, this is more than just a standard smartwatch. This smartwatch has a 3G chip in it. So it's a smartphone. So you can actually make calls from this little guy and do your whole Dick Tracy revamp. And
that'd be great.
I don't know a lot of characters from Dick Tracy. It's been a long time. But
I
yeah,
thought
I
you were
mean,
gonna say
There was those terrible names too.
Flat Face, or I forget his name. Something Face. He had a flat face.
Prune face, flat top, lips.
Yeah,
and
flat
mantlets,
top. That's it.
Big Boy Caprice,
Yeah.
Texas Garcia, Spladoni, or something.
Yeah. So, anyways, what's really nice about this is the second watch that Samsung has launched that has a curved screen. The first one was the Gear Fit, which was their fitness wearable. We thought it was going to do great. Then when it actually came out, it doesn't do that well. But this has a 2-inch AMOLED curved screen with a 1 gigahertz CPU processor. It does have GPS, and like I said, it does have 3G. So you do have to put a SIM chip in it, but it means that you can leave your phone behind and just use your watch. And you can still connect the watch to headphones, a Bluetooth headphone, so when you are talking to someone, it doesn't look like you're talking to your watch. But still, I don't know necessarily if there's a market for that. This is running Tizen, which is the same processor, or rather the same operating system that the Gear 1, or rather the Galaxy Gear, the Gear 2, the Gear Neo, and the Gear Fit are all running. And that's not necessarily a bad thing. Tizen actually runs a lot smoother and a lot quicker than Android does on these smartwatches. But yeah, we'll see in the next coming months how this all pans out. There's actually a Swarovski crystal encrusted one that Samsung announced too, but I didn't bother pulling up the picture. And then, you know what? I think that's really about it in terms of the watches that have been announced. As I mentioned pre-show, there's going to be a watch that's going to be announced by ASUS at IFA. They call it the Zen watch, which goes along the lines with their Zen line, like their Zen book, which is a laptop, an Ultrabook laptop. And supposedly Apple next week is supposed to announce a watch too, but as Google's Android Wear is continuing to get out there in the hands of OEMs and ODMs and consumers and developers, Google did make a promise that the Android Wear as a platform will update and will be updated early and often. Now, what that means is still kind of vague, but I know that they mentioned that there's going to be GPS improvements and things like that. So right now, there's been a lot of, I guess, negative comments about Android Wear as an operating system, as it is still limited because the apps aren't really there. People don't really know how to develop for smartwatches, because when people develop for smartwatches, they still have a smartphone mentality, so they're kind of doing it wrong. They're not really going alongside with Google's reference design, but only time will tell. So personally, for me, I'm still holding out for this beautiful piece of machinery, the Moto 360, and it looks like the Moto 360 is going to come out at $250, which might sound expensive, but I think most of us thought it was going to be $399 and even above that because we thought it was such high-end hardware. So, but yeah,
All right.
I'm excited to see how this all pans out.
Hey, real fast. I love the look of that LG watch. That is sexy, dude. I would remember how I've told you many times
I agree.
how I don't wear watches.
Yeah.
I would wear the crap, especially when I looked at the video and you're realizing that if that thing has different faces depending on your mood, if you want to go high sci-fi or to low tech or something, the look of that was like, ooh. And when you said it's $200, I was like, okay. Now they just got to get some features in there. They got some features on there, then I would almost be a customer for that right off the bat. I'm just wait. I love how that looks. The other one that they did, the Samsung one, looks like an old calculator.
A little too futuristic-y, kind of like they're trying too hard to make it look. I think they're trying too hard to make it look too Apple-y. Like they think, I think Apple's gonna have this kind of display, so we should do it first. Like, it's not really. I don't know. I do want to answer this question by Terrell. And Terrell, if I'm not pronouncing your name right, I'm sorry, but he asks, Terrell could be either or, possibly. Do you think the form factor of smartwatches is going to get people into wearable computers? I mean, Sean just mentioned a great point. I mean, he likes the look of the LG G Watch R, or as I'm going to call it, the Gwatcher. I'm going with that. It has that more kind of masculine look. Maybe that's why. Where are you going, Sean? Maybe that's why they have a Triumph motorcycle in the background there, kind of showing off that you can be rugged and be hip, if you will. But yeah, I mean, watches. More people wear watches than they will wear smart glasses, right? I mean, we already have pushback with Google Glass and VTux, so. If these manufacturers of watches, like I mentioned, Fossil's coming out with one. Asus's one looks a little kind of cheap. They even said it's going to be very inexpensive, like even $100 for the Asus one, which is pretty cool. But yeah, I mean, it does kind of come down to the form factor, the look of it, just like how watches do in general. And companies like Fossil have the backbone financially and design-wise to be able to say, okay, here's our first one, and here's one for the ladies, and here's one for the kids. They can do that. They have the money and the resources to do that. And maybe 20, 30 years from now, we're not going to look at my 30 watches that I have upstairs as everyday watches. Those would be watches that are ancient history. Now watches are things that talk to you or talk to your phone. And other wearable computers, things that maybe will not necessarily implant into us, but have on our body elsewhere that's not so obtrusive. Yeah, this is definitely the gateway into that. So, but I think also it goes back to what Sean said regarding the whole OnePlus thing. It needs everyday people to recognize it and have an honest endorsement. You need someone to say, oh, that's actually a cool watch that makes sense to have, Right now, it just kind of mimics notifications, and some people say it's not that much more convenient than taking your phone out of your pocket. So as that operating system develops, at least for Android Wear, and gets better, that kind of mentality where people can understand completely how to design for an actual wearable, we'll see other things come out from the woodworks in the next few years.
All right, Tony, can I ask you a quick question here? I'm going to have to go ahead and do this quick. You love watches.
I do.
When you go to a store and you look for a watch, what do you look for?
It depends on what kind of mood I'm in. If yeah.
The looks of it, the weight, the feel, what are we talking here? What things do you look at?
The look of it. I mean, the size of it. If I'm wearing a watch, the watch is a statement. It's a personal fashion statement. So for me, and you guys know this, and I am not apologetic about it whatsoever. The watch has got to be big. It's got to be different.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so that's why I like the Moto 360 because it's got a big face. I'm like, good. See, check
and the band's smaller too.
Yeah. So here's the deal. The answer to your question is, and this kind of goes back to what Terrell's asking. No, you're absolutely right. It comes out of style, and I think LG is onto something with this one because if you look at the video that they put in, the video is only 30 seconds, and what they've done is they flashed 20 different classic watch looks. that I have seen in my entire life, all flashing in a split second, and all I saw was that's every watch I've ever owned. If I want to be the sophisticated guy with the large screen, or the one with the different timers, or I want to have the one that looks like it has all the multiple timers on there, it seems like this watch has the ability to do all of those. So what this watch has become is the one watch of the rule them all.
Oh God, you really? I gotta get
You
off
really
of that
said
Lord of the
that.
Rings.
No, I
gotta
said
get-
I'm gonna leave now.
No, but no joke. But no joke. The thing is, this watch can emulate the different styles. Like you were saying, instead of making one for this gender or them for this style or those for this group of people, they really have a watch that they can probably or have third-party people program any look on it, and now you can have any style watch you want. And if the screen is
Well,
big
yeah,
and
that's the
vibrant,
watch face. I mean, that's part of the API that.
it's brilliant. It's
Yeah.
like what they're doing here in the look, the style, the king, the everything they've built here is designed. It's like they looked at a watch, they figured out what people like to do with watches, and they looked to say, okay, this will help us change the designs, but we need to make sure it's a big face. We got to make sure it's comfortable. We got to make sure this is because this is what people care about watches.
Mm-hmm.
But then we got to have these features because these are features that ought to be in it. But anyway, Darrell, there you go. Anyway, so the get to meet you, my friend. Anyway, but I don't know. It seems like
Oh, it said like Daryl. Is it Darrell or Daryl?
Okay,
Oh God.
hit the
It's
fact
like
that
Darrell.
Yeah,
He spells it with a T.
There you go. Anyway, I think, like I said, I'm huge. This LG is the first thing that actually got me into wearables. You know, I've been a cynic.
Oh
for
yeah.
months about this.
And rightly so. Yeah, no, I get it. It's fine.
Now I'm like, wait.
It reminds me of Kenneth Cole.
Yeah.
I've seen a watch
And
like
that's
that.
great, right?
Yeah.
That's a good thing. So
Now,
So now's the part where you get to ask for a sample unit, right? And
hey,
I know, right?
hey,
hey, boo
Look
boo.
at this watch.
Give me a sample unit.
ALG, look at this arm. Look, a watch would be beautiful right
I know,
here.
right? Look at these two arms.
Look at
I
this
could
right
tell
here.
time in England and in San Francisco if I just had LG G Watch R or Guacher.
Oh, we're not going there. All right, dude. YouTube is hooking people up, bro. Let's get to our this is our last topic here.
Yeah.
YouTube.
Thank you very much for those that have stuck with us on this tonight. We ran a little long, but these are awesome topics and these are some pretty cool analysis.
All right.
So yeah, YouTube wants to pay you, but only if you create content. I know Tom. See how he had that?
There's always
a but. Yeah, so if you are a creator of content on YouTube, like we are, or the likes of Marques Brownlee, Jessica Sterling, Funny or Die, any of those guys, as a viewer, you're watching all this stuff for free. Yeah, there are ads, but you're not paying for it. But if you really want to help the content creator out, YouTube, for a small amount of creators, is going to implement a support button. And it's going to be implemented in the form of a little heart. So if you're watching a video, again, we'll use Marques Brownlee as an example, and let's say he's reviewing the iPhone 6. In the upper left-hand corner, there's going to be a little heart. You can hover over it, and then it'll say, oh, you want to donate, and you can click on it, and it'll take you to a page where you can specify how much you want to donate and what form of payment that you want to use. And it's not a reoccurring donation like how Patreon works, but it's just a one-time payment that goes directly to the creator. And of course, Google does take a cut. It's like 20 cents, and then a 5. It's like 20 cents and like a 5% of all the proceeds.
21 cents plus 5% of the total donation.
Thank you.
So
yeah.
So the way they did the math, donating $1 gives you 74 cents to the people, and 26 goes to YouTube.
Right. So this is going to be rolling out slowly but surely in the countries of Australia, Japan, Mexico, and the United States. And like I said, it's going to be on limited channels. So Tom Merritt is one of them who's lucky enough to be able to get this on his channel, which is interesting because his channel really is just Google Hangouts. Like our channel is kind of not to say there's gaming stuff obviously thanks to Andrew, but his channel is all Google Hangouts.
Where's our damn tip jar then?
And that's what this is. This is a tip jar. That's all it is.
Where's our LTG
And
tip jar?
the interesting thing is,
tip jar.
the interesting thing is, the interesting thing is, if you are the creator, you can see which video is getting not just more hits, but who is pulling out their wallets for which video. You know, so if you do a video, again, Marquez Brownlee did the video where him and Jeff Rogan shot an arrow through that sapphire glass. I can probably guess that if this donate button was available then, he would make more money on that video, whereas the video that he was scratching and bending the glass before they shot it, that video got 6 million hits, but it probably wouldn't get as many donations as the shooting the arrow through it, just because, you know, as humans, we tend to want to give more money to the more entertaining videos. So it's going to be an interesting analytic when everything comes out. So, but it's just an option. You know, as a viewer, you don't have to donate. It's not a paywall. Don't think that you're going to have to start paying YouTube and everything. But, you know, as YouTube creators, as we are, Lazy Tech Guys, hopefully we'll be able to take advantage of this soon, and hopefully you as viewers will pull out $1 or $2 or $3,000. 100? $10. I need toll. I'll take 5. What do you guys think? I mean, do you think this is good? I mean, yeah, of course YouTube has to take a cut, but do you think this is good? Because I mean, if you look at the ad revenue that goes to YouTube creators, it's like they get $1 for every 1,000 views. I mean, that's nothing, you know. And so it's like this is definitely a little bit better, puts a little bit more control in the hands of the viewers. So you're kind of playing to their hand, but I don't know.
Now, Andrew, didn't Twitch do this for a long time before they got bought out? Then they allow people to do tips.
Yeah, you can donate on Twitch. You're right. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So this is essentially in a way of getting donations in there, and they have learned to say, hey, you know what? We are going to allow you guys to donate. Just give us a small cut. So, I mean, that's essentially what they've done. So,
yeah,
it seems like, I mean, I can't see it being a bad idea, because if someone wants to donate to someone's channel and they want it, if they're entertained enough to give you money, and that's really cool that they're willing to do so, and it's cool that they have the avenue open. At the same time, I mean, we could all open PayPal accounts, put our email addresses in there, and say, hey, if you would like to donate anything, just send it to me directly to me, and it would all go directly to me. I mean, that's
right. But if you know, because on mobile, they don't have it perfectly set yet on mobile. But on mobile phones, if you had that little heart button that pops up as an annotation, you can just click that heart button. It's a little bit easier, I would think, from an experience point of view, to not have to leave YouTube to give money. Whereas, you know, you have to click the link, you have to open up Chrome, maybe you have to sign into PayPal. If you're already signed in to Google and you have a Google Wallet account already set up, then you're good to go. Now, admittedly, not everyone has a Google Wallet account. That's a different story. But yeah, I mean, I guess it's just an option. I mean, truth be told, you could, Sean, have this. You could also possibly run an ad simultaneously, and in the comment section, you can say, "Oh, by the way, we're also on PayPal and Patreon if you want to donate there too." So,
yeah,
these are all they're all just options. Now, I do want to specify you can't have donations for charity, which is a little unfortunate. So you can't take all the funds and then turn it around and give it to like the Red Cross. You cannot
really do it though.
Yeah, I know, but you know, they don't. They'd rather you not to. I don't know how they would find out, but whatever. You could launder it. You didn't hear from me. You could also you cannot say, hey, I need $5,000 to go to the Philippines. Can you donate here? That's what GoFundMe is for, and other websites like that, not YouTube. So they're pretty emphatic about what this is for. It's solely just for donating of the goodness of the heart of the viewer to the YouTube creator, and you know, a tip jar.
Okay, awesome. Andrew, are you happy about it?
Yeah, if we get money off of it, that'd be great.
Great.
It's just now I gotta up my up all the videos now.
All right, so guys, this just in, not really this just in, but I just saw this article here on TechCrunch. Apple's two-factor authentication does not protect iCloud backups or photo streams.
Wow.
Yep. Yeah, I know. I just saw that, and I was like, "Whoa, that's pretty serious."
That's
Yeah,
serious.
here's a second thing about it that's very interesting here. This all has to do with the hack. Hackers are reportedly using a law enforcement tool to download users' iCloud backups.
Table toss.
Yeah. All right. So I just went and did what I did is I just went and did like trending, and I saw iCloud was trending, so I clicked on it, and all these articles are popping up. So
Okay.
apparently there's still a lot going on. I
Yeah,
know
it's
we've
not
kind of
over.
yeah. So
It's
next week we're
far from over.
talking about this again and seeing if Apple really is reliable. And as I said at the start, if Apple screwed up, then they deserve all the crap that is going to get slung to them, and so be it. If they didn't screw up, then let it be. Then sorry guys.
I do, before we move on, again, because we don't always have a lot of Q&A, and I do want to give face to the people that have asked questions. Jack asks, and this is for you two, do you think that technology market as well as the gaming market will ever be more fragmented as it already is, or will there be more monopolistic type of thing where something like PC dominates most of the things?
Andrew.
I think it's going to be fragmented more than anything because, well, that's kind of, hold on, I gotta, how do I say this? Well, it just seems like there's a lot more variety of things, so I guess maybe more fragmented. I mean, it's really hard to say that we're all going to combine into one thing still. But at the same time, when you think of things like the X1 and PS4, they're already essentially PCs since they're using PC architecture, but they're not marketed that way. So it's really hard to say whether it's going to be one or the other for me, at least for me.
Did you have anything you want to add in on that, Sean?
Well, my answer is this. So what you would have to do is look at the cause of the fragmentation. So the cause of the fragmentation, as I see it, and of course I'm not a genius, as I see it, is the amount of devices that we have out there trying to play games, and with all the different control schemes, and then you have the different companies. So we have Nintendo, Sony, and Microsoft are the three with the biggest investments in there, and they're making set a type of game. They're trying to make arcade/home experiences that we've been having since the 88 and on. Then you have your tablets and all those, which is a whole new deal. And when you think about it, every company making a phone or a tablet is competing with every other company making a phone or a tablet, even if they're on the same OS or not, including iOSs and many more. I would say as companies like Google try to streamline their services and iOS try to streamline their services to make it easier for games, that will start to consolidate some of it. What they've done with the PS4, the Xbox One, and the PC by having on similar architecture is going to make it easier. But just because there's three different players who want to invest in the games and have people buying their console for different reasons, there will always be a little bit of fragmentation. But as long as the third-party companies can survive, build the games they need to as easily as possible, and by making it on similar platforms, it does. I think we'll be okay. But yeah, I think the fragmentation is just going to be there because there's just so many devices and so many people want to play it, and you kind of have to be unique in your own way to get people to want to try it out, or else, I mean, there's millions of boxes that can do Call of Duty. So why get the box that can do Call of Duty for set A price when for just a few dollars more you can get set A price and then something extra on top of it, and that happens to be the big box, the popular guy's box. So it's it's hard to say. It's really hard to say. I would say in the back end, the architecture, everyone using like Unreal 4, Unity, and different engines like that will make things easier, and yeah, less changes from Apple and Microsoft on their operating systems. That would be really nice.
All right, and so
Windows 9 is coming up very soon.
Yeah, don't say that. It's
No.
not soon. Let's go ahead and hand it Terrell.
Hey,
he broke it down for us because we're freaking stupid over here. It said Terrell. Yeah, thank you, Terrell. He meant what are the key some killer functions in Windows Phone 8.1. Okay. You know what? If you're an iPhone user or an Android user, you might not think they're killer because you've used a lot of these already. But the notification shade is new to Windows Phone. That's super helpful. There's a kids corner, which is great if you do have kids, and I have two, and my 2-year-old loves to take the phone. So now the kids corner are a specific area of the phone that is portaled specifically for her, so she can't go into my email, my apps, my web browser. There's new folders that you didn't have before. Live Tiles is really nice. It's very customizable, and also you can change and customize the different sizes of the tiles that give you glanceable information. Glanceable information, very similar to how Android Wear and other wearables are supposed to be, so that's kind of tied into it, and possible future updates and hardware from Microsoft, maybe somewhere, I think. I don't know. And then also, I would say Cortana is a big one. Again, kind of a little late to the game, but they did it very well. And the fact that they took that extra step to get the actual girl, Jessica, somebody, to actually voice Cortana, at least here in the United States, was a really, really good job. And it does really nicely. It's really nicely as a digital assistant, where Siri is just kind of a talkback, but it still doesn't have a lot up against Google Now. Google Now is really, really awesome. But yeah. More and more, I talk about that on the video, which will come out in a few days, as long as Victor is able to have the time to splice it and edit it and everything. So make sure you subscribe to Lazy Tech TV to actually see that video, because I actually show some of those things alongside with an Android phone. So
there you go.
All right.
Awesome. All right. With that, we're going to cut this show off. We only went 35 minutes over. Wow. That's pretty good, guys. Hey.
It's not bad.
Great job, guys.
I thought it was gonna be 2 hours, so that's not bad. I'm happy. I'm sorry.
I think we did pretty good. I think we did pretty good. All right, thank you, everybody, for hanging out with us. Thank you for joining us, all the people listening, watching, and so on and so forth. Let's go ahead and give you some contact information for us. You can reach us by email if you shoot us at comments@lazytechguys.com. That's a group email. We'll all get it. Also, you can call us at area code 707-722-5299, which is also 707-722-LAZY, L-A-Z-Y. See what we did there? We can be also found on Google+, Facebook, and Twitter if you look up Lazy Tech Guys, and our YouTube channel is Lazy Tech TV, as Tony mentioned a little while ago. Lazy Tech TV, definitely use that one. Check it out, subscribe, and keep your eye open for more videos. And hopefully donate if that button never shows up. We're also
telling you, $5 is all I need. Seriously. Toll over here is expensive. I don't know where y'all are at, but
yeah. We like to thank Audible.com for being a sponsor. Audibletrial.com/lazy is our URL. That's the one you use. 30 days to check it out. You also get a free book and discounts on other books while you're a member. Definitely check it out. Audibletrial.com/lazy. Guys, thank you for hanging out. Tony, Andrew, you guys are awesome.
Pleasure.
All right.
As are you. As you are? No, as are you. Yeah.
As we are.
As we are.
You're super awesome.
We are Groot.
Seriously,
No.
the last one.
Dude, that was an awesome movie.
It was.
So we are Groot.
So we're stopping. See you guys later. Thank you for hanging out with us. We'll see you guys next week. Have a great weekend. We'll talk about some phones next week. Woo-hoo. See you later.
Peace.
We're out.